All right, everybody, let's do a quick dog the Tower Garden video. Not just the Tower Garden and all the mini spin-offs that come from the Tower Garden. As you can see, these are just some ivy plants. Nothing necessarily that you can eat, but very rarely, if at all, do you ever see any of the Tower Gardens doing house plants. And you have to ask yourself, why? And the reason why is just a great example of why Eve is so much better than the Tower Garden. Now, today we're going to water it. And with this particular design here, let me see if I get my cup here. Let's see here. I'll go with this top one here. All right, you get the side thing here that allows you to drain. It allows you to drain everything in here. So what I do before I water is I drain all this nutrient. Sometimes it's, let's see, sometimes it smells a little stagnant there because it's been resting. The plants don't necessarily care about that, especially house plants. So before I water it, I take all this out. I'm kind of liking this design. I don't know if it's necessarily important, but I take all the water out, and I've already done that with this bucket, and this bucket. Now, this top bucket you only need when it's time to water. This is just a 3-gallon bucket that I put on top of here. Usually I have a house plant on top of here, but when it's time to water, I take the house plant off and I put this bucket up here. And through the art of siphoning is how we water it. Now, where is my tube? Here it is over here. Got my tube here, and you just siphon it. And I have to do this once a month, maybe. Sometimes I can forget. I can go 2 months at a time without watering it, without even messing with it. All right, you Tower Garden people should pay close attention. All that money you spent. These are buckets I found in the dumpster. Of course, all this tower here literally easily under $10, no doubt. So what I do is all these, because they just started this, all these ivy is going to come. You're not even going to see the tower itself. It's going to be, and we'll do a video on that later on. We'll follow the progression of this tower. The same one with here, as you can see with these spider plant. It's starting to not see the actual tower itself, and so it becomes organic. Looks more natural than these, as my wife would tell me. I don't think it's as bad, but a lot of people say it. Unsightly with these white buckets. It's very utilitarian. It's very futuristic looking rather than organic and natural. So that all I do is I blow out first, get any air that might be in there, and then I suck. And now the power, and I put it right in here. Now I'm watering my tower. These can go a very long time because, again, you have to remember this much water remains in here, and I have all kinds of wicking material, and wicking power is about a foot. So if I have synthetic or cotton rags going down here, usually I use synthetic when I realize that this plant I want it to go as long as I can, many years. I want to keep it in this container. So I'll use a synthetic wicking material because the biodiversity in there will not eat up that rag. So now, right now I'm watering it. I can do whatever I want. Down below here, can you see that? Yep. The water will come down below here, and that's how you water. Very clean, very easy, never does it clog, and all these parts are easy to get. And now some of you, especially those who have been following my channel for a long time, are going to say, yeah, Mark, you've been talking about this Tower Garden, Eve growing Tower Garden contraption that mimics the Tower Garden. When are you going to show us how to build it? And I contend that those who have engineering minds can look at it and do it. But it can look at it and say, I can do that. I can figure it out. But wouldn't it be easier if I just showed you? And there's a reason why I don't necessarily show it, because it really is an amazing invention that I really should open source it and share it freely if I'm anything about what I talk about in my YouTube channel, to share and let people share freely rather than patent it and make people pay for the idea. But one day maybe I will share that this particular design. It's gotten better since I started. One reason why I don't is because, let's go to my fermenting system, my worm farm using buckets stacked up high. I did it many years ago. There was a guy and he was talking on his YouTube, and he never gave me credit for it. And and he didn't even speak English, so I don't know. I'll try to get that link. This many years ago now that I looked at it. Google verminting, you see all the people doing it. And he did that and never gave me credit for it. So I'm afraid somebody's going to do the same thing. They're going to have a better YouTube channel than me, and they're going to have more viewers, and they're going to start doing it. They'll get all the credit. That happened to, I see it happen to a lot of YouTubers. Who's a good example? Larry Hall, right? Larry Hall, who did the bucket system that he did. He used to do it in pools and stuff like that. And he had a great method. What the hell is that called? I'll put it in my thing. I'll get it while I'm editing this thing. But I see people doing his work all the time, and never do they give him credit. Or certain people don't. Many do, some don't. So ask yourself why the Tower Garden people and all these aeroponics, hydroponics people, why they don't do houseplants. And if you did, by the way, you have to always worry about them, of course. You have that, what do they call it? Growing anxiety. What do I like to call it? Soilless growing anxiety, right? It's something that's very real. You go away for vacation or something like that, and you always, and I know for a fact, because I know it firsthand, soilless growing anxiety is very real. Where you go away on vacation and you just worry about the electricity cutting out, you worry about the pump cutting out, something going wrong where the water's just going all over the place, you know. This has happened where the water does. You got to go slowly. One thing is you got to go slow, like this. See how that? You got to water very slowly, and that'll go right on down, and I'll show you the end video where the water comes out, and I won't have to touch this amazing tower, and I won't have to touch this tower for many months. All right, so it comes out down here, right? So this is all the biodiversity that's raking through all the awesome stuff that's in each one of these containers. So what I do is I'll lift this up like this to stop it for a little bit, and I'll dump this through the top again, like that. Let it run through, and then let those top buckets get all of it, all the goodness. No rush. Let's see how much is in here. All right, so this is Mark from Eve Growing to give you Tower Garden people something to think about. Save your money, folks, because a lot of these Tower Gardens, in my personal opinion, are going to the landfill, and all this plastic and Bull Twinkies stuff is it's just so much work. They don't tell you that because they're a multi-marketing scam that tells you that that's selling you something that works, but it doesn't work quite up to expectation, in my personal opinion. And let's just talk a little bit about this nutrient-rich tonic water that they use, this synthetic fertilizer that has to be mined to get these minerals into these bottles. It's expensive for very good reason, as they rake the planet from all of our precious resources. With Eve, of course, you're using composted soil. Eve stops stuff from going to the landfill rather than adding stuff to it, and far less heavy equipment needed. My name is Mark with Eve Growing. Over and out. We will, most certainly, heal this planet one urban farmer at a time.